Yeah, the port in mainland China, right?
Yeah.
And as we had mentioned earlier, that because of this China rise, the China ports becomes very busy and develop in leaps and bounds. Therefore, as we can expect, lots of this, lot of spontaneous strikes has been going on for the past 20 years. We have seen dockyard workers strike. We have seen cranes drivers strike. Actually, I think I forgot whether it is last. I think it's 2 years before. There is the cranes drivers strike in China's ports as well. And also there is lots of truck drivers strike because in the China case, many truck drivers actually are worked and self-employed. So they through mortgage they own a truck and then they take a business and to work with. But the problem in China is that the police were very rough on them. They always prosecute these truck drivers, and the fees charged by the dockyard tends to be very high, and this triggers off a lot of strike as well. So it's quite for the past 20 years. Occasionally, the truck drivers also go on strike. So they always are able to win some progress, but a significant improvements in their working conditions has yet to happen because of the fact that they are denied the basic freedom of association. But because of the nature of the work, because it's concentrated, it is a kind of work which requires a lot of collective effort or mutual help and so on. So there's, even without organizations, they are able to form a bit of network or some core workers and who are more militant or experienced and so on. So we can expect this kind of spontaneous or half spontaneous strike will still occasionally break out in the future. The Hong Kong port is a very important part of the Hong Kong economy. And for many years, it ranks quite top in the world ranking of port. And actually, the port workers, the dock workers, container drivers, they constitute one of the relatively militant sectors 40 or 30 years ago. Strikes are not very often, but from time to time it occurs. So it's, and from there is also beginnings of relatively better unions. But since China's rapid developments of capitalism in the 1990s, we experienced a decline of the port activity. Gradually, I don't know the most updated figures, but Hong Kong's port ranking has dropped significantly for the past 15 years. Hong Kong's top ranking has been replaced by the Yantian port in Shenzhen and the Shanghai port. So, reflecting the rise of China. And also is because Hong Kong industry has nearly completely vanished. Therefore, we do not have too much manufactured products to export anyway. So Hong Kong, the port, has returned to a status chiefly as a entry port, which means it is an entry port for China and US trade. So we are therefore very much dependent on China, economically speaking, especially the port. So this is the situation here. And secondly, is in 2013, after long years of quietness, the Hong Kong dock workers finally has started a strike which lasted for how many days? It lasts for a long time, yes, because of the not worldwide, but many of the support. Because they are demanding the wages to at least recover the level before 1997. So it is very moderate demands, but you can see that how dock workers' living standard has dropped significantly since 1997. So the strike is succeeded in winning the wage rise, and so it is a boost to the morale of the dock workers, and the management has to give them a little bit more respect than before. This is what they achieved, which is good. Yeah, but on the other hand, the long-term declines of the Hong Kong port is still an ongoing thing. So there are also talks about, yes, say Hong Kong terminals will increasingly introduce automatic terminal, which means a cut of workforce. So this is a worrying thing in the future, and which we should concern about. There is a competition, although because of the changing of the characters of the Hong Kong port from exporting local products to becoming an entry port. So it's China trade. China's there is also a complementary dimensions of the ports between the two sides, which means there is a lot of cargoes will be shipped to Hong Kong, repacked, and then re-export again. So there is a complementary side. But at the same time, of course, there is also a competitive side as well. But in this, on this issue, Hong Kong is now increasingly in a disadvantaged situation.